if there's one topic that comes up frequently with Missourians when I'm talking to them, it really is, can't you do anything about the robocalls? I'm on the do not call list. Why can't you get them to stop? I watched my mother get victimized when she thought she was being called by Medicare, and it was really a company called Medcare that was robocalling her and lying to her about whether or not they'd talk to her doctor. In our 2013 subcommittee hearing in the Commerce Committee, we heard about the inability of enforcement agencies to keep up with this game of whack-a-mole that phone scams have become, and pleas for help from consumers, that their providers please help them by offering technologies that will block unwanted and fraudulent calls. Missouri's Attorney General, Chris Koster, a Democrat, along with Indiana's Republican Attorney General, spearheaded a letter to the FCC, and 37 other attorneys general signed on. They wanted a formal opinion that clarified whether what we were hearing from industry was true, that their hands were tied about their ability to provide call blocking technology based on consumer choice. I'm pleased today that we are joined by Missouri's Deputy Attorney General, former Judge Joe Dandurand, to explain why giving consumers more power and choice in which calls they receive is such an important concern for law enforcement nationwide. This week, I've introduced and am very pleased to have co-sponsorship with the chairman of this committee, Chairman Collins. We introduced together the Robocall and Call Spoofing Enforcement Improvement Act. This bill would give the FCC more enforcement authority, allowing it to go after non-licensed robocall violators and increasing penalties on them. One of the other concerns we've heard from our law enforcement agencies is their inability to get at spammers who spoof calls from overseas. This bill would allow for the FCC to enforce our spoofing laws against overseas callers who direct their activities to those living in the United States. Additionally, the bill would grant the FCC explicit authority to regulate third-party spoofing services. We have to stay on top of this issue because spammers, spoofers, and robocallers will continue to use whatever tools are available to them to defraud American consumers and American seniors. The complaints are only increasing. In the last 5 years alone, the FTC reports monthly complaints about illegal robocalls have doubled. And in Missouri, as we will hear from Attorney General Dandurand, the top complaint of residents is unwanted and illegal telemarketing calls. It's not even close. His office gets 50 times the number of complaints for those calls than it did for the next highest category of complaint.
I do want to salute you for the work that you've done on the Commerce Committee on this issue and for the legislation that you've drafted, which I'm very pleased to join you in co-sponsoring.
Deputy Attorney General, I know your office has done great work in this area, and I know you've banned 28 telemarketers, but you know, as you know, I'm an old prosecutor. Aren't we going to have to start putting some people in jail? I mean, the people that are doing this, the reason it's whack-a-mole is because they don't fear any authority at this point. They are fearless of authorities. If we began picking off, and I know that, you know, is it likely that we're going to get U.S. Attorney's Office to get all in on this? And I'm painfully aware of the limitations of your office in terms of criminal prosecutions. But is there, you know, are there laws in Missouri that you think currently would allow you to put some of these people in prison?
I don't think we have laws that give the Attorney General office initial.
What about local prosecutors? Do they have it? Would they have local? I'm trying to think what they could be. I guess they could be prosecuted under stealing by deceit.
They could, and the consumer protection laws are there. So if it's a criminal violation of consumer protection, if you can prove their intent rather than a simple violation, but intent to scam, which makes it more difficult, those are available. But right now it's difficult. The feds have been helpful in that regard, and there are multi-state efforts to criminally prosecute folks, and that will. So they actually are. DOJ is assisting in that regard.
We might want to look at what state statutes can be utilized and what communication you have with local prosecutors to help facilitate them bringing these cases. I do think the more people that are criminally prosecuted here, the more quickly you're going to clean some of this up Let me ask you this: does it work when you ban these 28 telemarketers? Do they stay out? Have you caught them coming back after you've banned them?
We haven't caught the same named persons twice or the same named companies twice, but we certainly believe that they change the name of the outfit and move somewhere else, or just what they do, they just network from state to state until they get barred in another state and continue to do this. So that whack-a-mole theory is just truly, truly difficult to get a grip on.